y'all, welcome back to another Tuesday at 2. We do this every Tuesday on Facebook and on my YouTube channel. I've decided not to try to do these live because live video is just not what it used to be, and I'm still getting the information to you and helpful resources doing it this way. So our video will still be here on Tuesdays on my Facebook page at 2 and also over on my YouTube channel. So welcome wherever you're watching from. I'm glad you're here. Today we're going to talk about something that I mentioned on my podcast this week. If you didn't know I have a podcast, I had it for a few years. I kind of took about a year break, and now I've been making new episodes again, and you can go over and find that. It's over on my website. It's probably the easiest way to find it, but it's called the Heart to Heart Podcast. You can search on just about anything that you listen to podcasts on, like Spotify or Apple Podcasts, Amazon, all those things. Anyway, yesterday I had a new episode where I was talking about the idea of movement in paintings and what does that mean, and how I have been learning lately that color and color temperature in particular has a lot to do with movement. So I thought it would be fun and interesting for us to just do a little overhead view of my art table, and I'm going to show you some examples of some of my own paintings that have that push and pull. If you want to listen to that podcast episode, it is I'll put a link down below, but I talk about movement, and when someone says there's so much movement in that painting, what does that even mean? Because as a self-taught artist, I've had to figure a lot of things out on my own, and that's one thing that even recently I've been adding more information to my own brain. I don't know how to say that, about movement. And so I'm going to turn my camera around and I'll just show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so we'll start with just basic knowledge here. Cool colors are greens, blues, purples. Warm colors, yellows, oranges, reds. But it gets complicated because there can be a red that leans more cool or leans more warm. And color temperature, you can get really involved with all of this, just color theory in general. But what I want to show you is when it comes to movement in a painting, what I've been thinking about more and realizing as I create my own artwork. So we're going to start with this one here. This is one of my paintings, and the background back here is cool and blue. What we've got in the front here is these yellows and warm greens, and there is a little bit of some golden color in the cow itself. And what happens is the blue or the cool is pushed back, the warm colors come forward. The push and the pull, which I talk about in the podcast, is movement. It's moving, the color itself is moving all of this forward and pushing all of this back. So you can create movement in your paintings with temperature. And if you do it strategically, it can make a huge difference in your paintings. So let's look at this one. If you're one of my creative community members, this was one of our tutorials for this month. There's color temperature, there's push-pull in this painting also. We've got the blues that are here. They're painted in the front, but they're kind of pushed back a little bit in comparison to these gold and white flowers that we've got here. We've got the blue in the background that is pushing our sky backwards. our barn is on the cool side and it's being pushed back. And what is really at the forefront here is these golden colors of these yellow and white flowers. This one is also a tutorial in the creative community. It's coming up this coming Thursday. It's coming Thursday. But I'm going to show you again. There's that push and pull. The blue sky is being pushed back. However, there is some gold sky yellow here, and it makes it look like the sun is coming toward you, which is so cool when you think about it. Okay, here's another example of one of my paintings. This one is a floral, but it does have some pink in the background, some yellows, golds, browns. This is a lot of warm color, but these leaves are the coolness, and those leaves are pushed back, and these yellowy golden flowers are being pulled forward. Value has a little bit to do with it, or well, value has a lot to do with it too, but we're just focusing on color right now. Okay, here's another example. This one is a lot of cool. It's a lot of cool. And this painting is very calm. I wouldn't say it has a whole lot of movement. There is some golden browns, some warmth here in these trees, and down here there's warmth here. But the majority of this painting is in a cool color temperature, and it looks calm and still. It's not energetic and vibrant. It doesn't give you the same feeling that does, where this has a lot more of the contrast between the cool and the warm, if that makes sense. So this is more still, it's more calm, it's less movement in that sense of the word. And let's see, here's another one. This one does have some of the temperature change. There's warmth here, there's warmth here, and more of a coolness here. It's so cool when you start recognizing these things and you can put it to practice in your own paintings. And I just wanted to share a few more and see if you can see where that warm and cool complement each other. And when I say complement, that's one of the things that I've taught for a really long time, is choosing colors that complement each other from your color wheel, because they work well together. But it's really more than that. There's a lot more that you can strategically add to your paintings when you know what works and what doesn't. Instead of just thinking, I like red, so I think I'll just paint some red flowers. Oh, what color should my background be? I don't know, maybe I like purple. So instead of just guessing at it, when you have a plan and you have ideas, you don't even really have to have a plan. If you have your paint out and you have just the knowledge that warm and cool complement each other, they push and pull each other, they're going to help one another, then you can start just kind of mixing it on the fly and making it work. Let's see, let's find a good example. It's got a lot of practice work in here. Let's look at this one. You've probably seen it before, but these yellow spots here just really stand out, and the background being that cool gray is pushed back. These flowers are coming forward a little more because they are a warm color, and then the leaves are a cooler color, which are pushed back also. And they work, it's like they're working against each other, but it helps. That friction that you can get from doing that just helps your painting to come alive. Here's another example of just a little hint of blue here and there that has been put in there. This is a mostly warm palette. A lot of it is warm, but just that little hint of blue just gave it a little something extra. So sometimes when I would paint in the past, especially when I first started painting, I would create something and then I would take like a turquoise color and just tap it here or there, and I didn't know why, but I really liked the way it looked. And there was something about it that just made the painting a little bit extra, a little better, but I couldn't really tell you why until I started learning things like this. And so there may be times, especially if you're self-taught like me, that you're doing something, you're creating something and it works really well and it looks really good, but you don't really know why, and it's hard to repeat it because you don't know what you did to get that result. So learning things like this, it may seem trivial or like restricting maybe even to some people, but it is very helpful when you put it into practice. With that said, this free tutorial that I did, I've had it available for about a month now, and several people have signed up and painted it and sent me their photos and emails. I'm so excited that everybody is really enjoying it. But do you see what I see when you look at this? There is a lot of movement going on here between this friction we've got here with this yellow and blue. And here, all of this, the flowers, the container, even the shadow, all of that is warm in temperature. Our background and our leaves and these little blue flowers that we added are all cool. So there is a lot of push and pull going on here, and that is one of the reasons why this painting turned out the way that it did and is pretty. If I had, for example, changed this and the container and the flowers were warm, and I also painted the background a warm color like brown, it would not look the same at all. So just having that knowledge and knowing that you can create a better painting when you have that little bit of color movement is what I've been thinking in my head. The push and the pull, it creates movement, not just, you know, the movement of your brush strokes or the movement of lines, but this creates almost like a three-dimensional effect, if you want to think about it that way, that I think helps a whole lot. So if you'd like to I can't talk now. If you would like to try this free tutorial, I'll put a link down below and you can head over and do that, or you can just go to my website. It's artbyamandahilburn.com, and it's right in the header up at the top. It says try a free lesson, and I hope that this was helpful, and I will see you guys back here next week. Bye.